Dark Shadows, number 4, VTR 122966, Air 1567, take 1.
My name is Victoria Winters. There are very few lights burning at Collinwood, for it is late at night. But lights in the caretaker's cottage are still burning.
Burke, please don't.
Why?
Please, Burke, please. Roger!
What do you think you're doing?
Get away from my wife.
Is this your idea of a joke, Collins?
Far from it. I demand to know what you're doing here.
I'm renewing an old acquaintance.
You have no business with my wife. From now on, stay away from her.
Is that an order?
Roger, you don't understand.
Be quiet. I'm talking to Devlin.
I'm listening.
Well, you better listen. Stay away from my wife.
And if I refuse?
I'll kill you. Nothing would give me greater pleasure.
You won't shoot.
Don't test me, Burke. You'll be sorry.
Will I?
I could kill you and no court in the land would hold me responsible. You're trespassing on my property and bothering my wife.
Was I bothering you, Laura?
No. Roger, you don't understand. Please let me explain.
I understand all I need to understand. I could shoot Devlin with complete immunity from the law.
Then shoot me.
I'm warning you. Stay where you are.
Getting nervous?
Take another step, Devlin, and I'll shoot.
Go ahead. Shoot.
I'll kill you for this. I swear I'll kill you.
Can't you two leave each other alone? Do you have to start this all over again? You're behaving the way you did 10 years ago.
Get him out of here.
Burke, please go for my sake.
All right. I'll go because of you.
I meant what I said, Devlin. I'll kill you if it's the last thing I do.
I heard you. Goodbye, Laura.
Goodbye, Burke.
What do you want?
Roger, please calm down.
Answer me.
He brought me my bag.
What were you talking about?
David, mostly. How it feels to be back in Collinsport. Nothing that wouldn't come under the heading of general conversation.
From what I heard, it was far more intimate than that. Legally, you're still my wife. I refuse to have you playing around with Devlin.
I was not playing around with anyone. I don't have the slightest interest in Burke.
Why did you tell him your interest and reason for coming back here?
What do you mean?
You told him you came back here not to see me. You told him you came back to take David away with you. Why?
Why not? When I leave here, it'll be public knowledge anyway.
You're deliberately encouraging him, letting him play with you, and playing into your hands.
Roger, it's not true.
Isn't it?
I am pleasant to Burke because it is the best way to handle him. I have said nothing that was in any way damaging to you.
Allow me to remind you that if there is a retrial, it will be damaging to you, too.
You have said that before.
I want it to sink in. You committed a perjury, Laura. If I go down, you go with me.
I am fully aware of that.
Well, don't ever forget it if Devlin comes around here.
I haven't told Burke anything. I don't intend to tell him anything. The accident was in the past. We're not living in the past. All I want is David. I am not concerned with anything else.
Your best chances of getting David is by cooperating with me.
I'm trying to cooperate with you.
Well, then try a little harder and stay away from Devlin.
I'll handle Burke. Please don't worry about it.
If Burke thought that you were a loyal wife to me, he wouldn't try to get information out of you. Why don't you try acting like a loyal wife, even though it would be a travesty?
I am not disloyal.
Burke and everyone in this town has got to think that you are loyal to me, whether it's true or not.
All right, Roger.
And it better be all right. The happiest day of my life will be the day that you take my son and go. If David is my son.
David. David.
David. David. Come on, wake up.
I'm awake. What time is it?
It's 10:30. You're a real sleepyhead this morning.
I kept waking up in the night. I had that dream again.
About your mother?
Yes. She kept calling my name over and over again. She kept telling me she wanted to take me away. And there was that fire all around. It was scary.
I'm sorry you keep having that dream.
Why do you suppose I have them?
Because your mother's on your mind. And I think that in the back of your mind, you really want to see her.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Good morning.
Good morning, Roger.
Get dressed, David. I'm taking you down to Matthew's cottage.
Matthew's cottage?
That's right, to see your mother. She spent the night there last night. She's going to be living on there for some time.
I'm not so sure I want to see her.
Now, David, don't start that nonsense.
It isn't nonsense. There's something scary about my mother.
Now, that's ridiculous. Get dressed. We're going down to see your mother.
No.
Do as I say right now.
I said no, I don't want to.
David, are you going to behave, or do I have to give you a sound thrashing?
Don't you go near me. Don't let him touch me, Miss Winters. Don't let him hurt me.
Nobody's gonna hurt you. Now, David, you go on and get washed up.
Okay. But I'm not going near my mother, and you can't make me.
What am I going to do with that child?
Would you mind a suggestion?
I would welcome anything.
Well, you're not gonna get David to obey by spanking him.
He deserves a good spanking. He's just being obstinate for the sake of being obstinate.
No, I don't think so. He was genuinely frightened. You see, he had that dream about his mother again.
Why would he be frightened of seeing Laura? What could be going on in that little mind of his?
I have a theory about David.
Well, what is it?
I think that he really wants to see his mother. But he's afraid that when he does, she'll reject him. There were a lot of children like that in the foundling home. They wanted love, but they didn't know how to handle it.
Laura wouldn't reject David. Quite the contrary. She needs him as much as he needs her.
I know that, but David doesn't. He's got to learn that for himself.
How if he keeps refusing to see her?
I don't know. But I'm going to have to think of some way to get the two of them together.
I wish you would. Not only for my sake, but for hers. His behavior was a slap in the face for her.
I feel very sorry for her, and I will do what I can.
Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate your attitude.
Oh, Roger,
Hmm?
was the sheriff here last night?
How did you know he was here?
I woke up and I saw his car parked outside. Was there some trouble?
No. Our local defender of the peace gave another demonstration of his incompetence.
What do you mean?
Well, there was a fire in Phoenix, Arizona, and there was a body found, and they thought it was Laura.
Mrs. Collins?
Yes. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Apparently, the Phoenix police are as incompetent as our own.
Does Mrs. Collins... Did she have anything to say about
Well,
it?
not much. Anyway, it's not important. The main issue is David. Please try to think of some way to get them together. It will be of vital importance to all of us.
Vicky, good morning.
Good morning, Mrs. Collins. In. I brought down some breakfast. I thought we might have it together.
Yeah. That was very thoughtful of you.
Has Mrs. Johnson been in yet?
Yes, a while ago. She'll be back later. She certainly does wonders with the dust cloth.
I'm surprised you managed as well as you did.
Oh, I managed very well.
I see you made a fire.
Yes. Yes, I love a nice fire. There's something so soothing about it. Well, tell me, is David up?
Yes, he got up a little while ago.
Does he want to see me?
Well, he's still awfully excited from last night, and
Oh, that's all right, Vicky. You don't have to make excuses for him.
I'm sure that he will want to see you after he gets over this stage fright.
Well, I hope you're right. I've waited so long to see him, it sometimes seems like an eternity.
I know. You see, he's missed you as much as you've missed him.
Before I came back to Collinsport, did he ever talk about me?
Oh, he talked about you all the time.
Well, what did he say?
He told me how much he loves you and how much he wanted you to come back.
Did he?
Certainly did. That's why I'm sure that, well, that this thing is just a phase.
Vicky, tell me about him.
What would you like to know?
Anything that comes to mind. His favorite color. What he likes for breakfast. I want to know everything there is to know.
Well, his favorite color is blue.
That's my favorite color.
And as for breakfast, I think he'd be quite happy to have hot dogs and hamburgers every morning if he could.
Well, that sounds typical.
David is very typical in lots of ways. But he's more sensitive than most children, and I think he's much more intelligent.
Well, that's very good to hear. Vicky, I wonder if you could do me a favor.
What?
Could you get me a lock of his hair?
A lock of his hair?
Oh, well, I know it's an odd request, but I have a piece of his baby hair. I keep it with me all the time in this locket.
Oh, that's a beautiful locket.
Thank you. It's a family heirloom. Roger gave it to me on our wedding night.
Oh,
I've kept it with me all the time I was in the sanitarium. I suppose you know that I was there for a very long time.
yes, I had heard it mentioned.
Well, you don't have to be embarrassed about it. It's perfectly all right for me to talk about it. In fact, it's very good therapy.
I'm not embarrassed.
While I was there, sometimes it was my only contact with reality. It meant I had a son somewhere outside those walls. He was growing up and waiting for me to come back to him. Vicky, if only I could win David's love and acceptance. That's all I want.
Well, perhaps if you came back to the house with me now, you could talk to him.
No, he doesn't want to see me. I don't want to force myself on him. I just upset him or frighten him or...
If only there was some way that the two of you could meet that would be easy and natural, as if it was an accident. Yes, wait a minute. I do have a plan.
Well, what is it?
Every afternoon, after David studies, I take him for a walk between 4:30 and 5.
Yes?
You could plan to meet us on that walk.
Well, if you think it wouldn't upset him,
No, because it wouldn't seem planned at all. It would just be an accident. I'm sure he wouldn't be upset.
Well, where could we meet?
The greenhouse.
How about on top of Widow's Hill?
Why Widow's Hill?
Well, I used to take David there when he was a little boy. He liked to watch the ships. I just thought that possibly he might be more willing to accept me in a familiar surrounding.
All right. Then we'll meet at a little after 4:30 on Widow's Hill.
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate your help.
I want David to understand and accept you. He needs someone. He needs a mother.
And I need him. You have no idea how much. In fact, no one knows.
Where are we going?
To Widow's Hill.
Why'd you bring me up here?
To look at the ocean. I like to look at the ocean, don't you?
Sometimes. I wonder how many people have died here.
That's a morbid thought.
Well, lots of people have, according to the legends.
I know all about the legends, but I don't want to talk about anything that depressing.
Why? Because you're afraid of the legends?
Because I don't.
Oh. Oh, boy, look at those waves. They're big ones today.
David, come back from there. You're making me nervous.
I won't fall.
David, come back here.
Okay. You know, sometimes you're the biggest scaredy cat.
Scaredy cats don't have accidents.
Neither do I.
It's always a first time.
Oh, boy. Look at those gulls. Did anyone ever catch a seagull and keep it for a pet?
I wouldn't know.
That's what I was thinking I might do.
Oh, that's very interesting, David.
Well, it's boring hanging around up here. Let's go home.
Wait a minute.
Why?
Oh, look, isn't that a ship out there?
Where?
See, right there on the horizon.
Oh, yeah. I think it's a ship. But I can't make it out.
I wonder what kind of ship it is.
Oh, it's probably an ocean liner going around the world. Going to all the far-off places.
Maybe it is.
You know what I'm going to do when I grow up?
What?
I'm going to get on an ocean liner and go all around the world to all the far-off places.
Are you going to go to Madagascar? You remember we used to talk about faraway places, David? When you were a little boy. You used to ask me about Madagascar. You liked the sound of the word. Do you remember that? I still know lots of things about faraway places.
You do?
Mm-hmm. I could tell you all about them if you want me to. Come here.
No!
David, be careful.
David, come to me, please.
No, I won't. I won't.
David, look out.
Come back, David. David, come to me, please.
No.
David, come to me, please. David!
Help! Help!
A sports special tonight in color. See Pro Football Shotgun Marriage, Sonny, Money, and Merger. A penetrating look at the AFL NFL union here on ABC. Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production.